That's when I heard of Joe Williams, that UCLA game. You went for 332 yards. I said, who is Joe Williams? Well, we didn't know because Joe walked away from the Utah football team to take some time for himself. He was dealing with some issues. You missed about a month.
Right.
They talked you into coming back, and he just tore it up.
Solid.
He had 5 straight games where his worst game was 149 yards. What got into you when you came back, and what made you decide to come back to football after you had quit the game?
You know, it was just the process of just going through that tragedy in my life and just understanding that taking that time away allowed me to deal with the grief. And when I came back, you know, I just wanted to prove everybody wrong. You know, family, friends, just everybody that was looking at me, you know, everybody.
The conversations, we know Kyle was high on you.
Yeah.
Was beating on the table, and John had some standards that he wanted for his type of team. That conversation with John Lynch, what was that like? That was day 3 of the draft, right, or before
Exactly.
day 3 of the draft?
Yeah, so he had called me about an hour before, you know, the clock started ticking, and you know, it was just an honor just to speak to him on the phone. You know, him being a Bronco great, and you know, I love the Broncos. You know, my favorite team. But just, you know, I'm 49ers team now.
Nice clarification.
But just, you know, just laying it all out in there for him, you know, the entire story of my whole life, and just letting him understand that, you know, have a peace of mind of, you know, if he gave me the opportunity, which he did, to play for the 49ers. And, you know, I'm just glad to be a part of this organization and ready to go to work. What
was it that you think Kyle saw in you that made him kind of beat the table the way that he did for you?
Well, him coming from the Falcons, you know, being that offensive coordinator and having Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, and just looking at me on film and seeing kind of the same attributes that those 2 running backs had, you know, just trying to utilize me in that same way that he did you know, in Atlanta. And that's, you know, just what I'm trying to, you know, replicate for him.
You obviously had tremendous success in the second half of your season at Utah. You got a lot of people's attention. Kyle saw you as a perfect fit for this offense. You had to convince John Lynch during that phone call that you still did have passion for the game because he was not a guy that you were initially, or that he was initially looking at drafting because of your situation. Now that you're there, you're going to be competing with Carlos Hyde. It's a team that is in rebuilding mode right now. What do you have to do to carry over that success that you had at Utah to San Francisco?
I just have to stay humble and just ready to work. You know, I come in as a rookie, so, you know, there's a lot of expectations for me and for myself. But I'm just going to run with every opportunity that I have, you know, just to go in there and learn from the veterans and just know that, you know, when I get my time to shine, you know, I'm just going to be able to do everything in my best ability to make sure that stays.
I thought he was going to give us a few lines from Kendrick Lamar when he said stay humble. I was looking forward to hearing your voice, but
nah.
Hey, we're happy for you, man. Congrats,
and
the work's just starting. Go get it.
Yes, sir.
Before we let you go, is it true that you watch Adrian Peterson highlights before games to get you pumped up?
In all these games that you see the little clips for, yeah. I mean, he's just my inspiration. You know, when I was, you know, growing up watching football, him and Barry Sanders, so just watching him would get me ready to go and, you know, just try to